I'm going to cover 5 unique ways that we use our XABCD Pattern Scanner beyond just your conventional alerting. If you want to learn more about anything to do with XABCD patterns, consider subscribing and checking out our previous videos, as there's over 150 of them. Okay, let's get down to it.
Discipline is about choosing the hard thing. Even though it's hard, it's better than all the wrong things. You can get swept up in all other priorities, so just keep on pushing toward the goal if you want to keep it moving. Everybody wants to be addicted to the grind, but
okay, number 1 is going to be effective pattern identification. So instead of manually drawing in a pattern and feeling like you have to trade it because you finally found a set of measurements that work out to create that pattern, you can be a lot more selective. Imagine having 50 patterns a day that you get alerted to, and then you can pick the top 5 from that, which might be exactly what you want. And don't forget, our software looks at time and price when building a pattern, which is why it's a lot more consistent. But that also leaves you with 12 ratios. That's 12 measurements. Trying to find even one of those can be difficult. So having 50 presented to you a day, you can pick your top 5. And that kind of leads into more trade ideas. So if you're manually finding less patterns than what you could with a scanner, which almost no doubt you would, it would only make sense to use tools that are going to increase your trade opportunities if those opportunities are presenting you with patterns that are going to get you a lot more consistency and possibly help with your results. So number 2 is a real-time risk analysis. So the risk reward with our tools can actually be put into your scanner. So as it's scanning, it's also looking at what is the risk reward of that particular trade. Now, if you're new to that concept, the idea is that you want to only look for patterns that are going to pay you twice as much as what you're risking. So if you're risking $50, you're looking for a pattern that's going to make you 100. That sort of thing. Okay, that's because if you're only looking for patterns that give you twice as much as what you're risking, you only need to be right 33% of the time to break even. Anything more than that, that's going to be a benefit to you. So you can set up those conditional alerts so that the pattern in the scanner will only show you when there's a pattern when you hit that 2-to-1 risk versus reward, and you don't have to check that manually. It's all automatically done for you. Okay, number 3 is going to be finding nested patterns. Now, using the XABCD Pattern Scanner would make it very easy to find nested patterns because these are going to be patterns within other patterns. So if you had a pattern on the 5-minute time frame that also triggered on a 15-minute pattern, it might be the same pattern but zoomed in or zoomed out depending on the size of the pattern. But what we're talking about with nested patterns are patterns that are different than another time frame. So if you had a pattern on the 5-minute that was one specific pattern type, and then on 15 you had a different one, and both of those patterns had an entry zone telling you to sell or to buy at the exact same point, these are called nested patterns. And it's very easy to find them because all you're doing is looking across all the time frames and you're looking for patterns that are right beside each other, right? Patterns that might be on a 5, 15, and 30 minute in a set of 3, or maybe they're on a 30 minute and a 60 minute in a set of 2, but you're looking for different patterns that are going to be side by side, and those are going to be the ones that you want to focus on first. Okay, number 4 is reducing the human bias factor. Now, this is one of the reasons why I like using the scanner. Basically, it's going to alert you to patterns that you might not have end up considering before yourself, or perhaps you're very bullish or bearish on the ES, and you get some bullish or bearish patterns that go against your initial thought, and it was pre-filtered down for you, and you look at it and you go, hey, that pattern looks pretty good. It might not be in the direction that you originally were looking for, but it very well could present you with more opportunities with reducing the human bias factor. Okay, reason number 5, you can use the scanner to scan for current or slightly older patterns, and there's actually use for both of those. So we have this setting called the max bar count, and what it does is it allows you to say how many bars after the pattern is formed do you want to leave it on the scanner for. So if you set it to 1, then 1 bar after the pattern was alerted to, it's going to return to a dash. It's going to reset. Okay, if you set this to 10, it's going to stay on there for 10 bars after. Now this is important because say you wake up in the morning and you load up the scanner that has been configured for 10 bars or to leave it on for 10 bars, you then see some of the patterns that have formed overnight to see if they're still valid. However, If you want to just see the current patterns, maybe you're in front of the machine during the day, you can enter the number 1 and see all the patterns that are available to you right now. Okay, so if you like some of these 5 reasons, I highly encourage you, like the video. I'll know that you want to see more of this sort of content going forward. So if this is something you guys like to see, please take a moment, slap that like button, let us know, because like I said, we are watching them. And also, if you haven't gotten our ATM strategy template pack, highly encourage it. You can use it with any sort of strategy, but we have videos so that we can show you that are specifically using our ATM strategy templates with the XABCD pattern. So it makes it even easier. You have your scanner that alerts you to them, and then you have this ATM pack that does a lot of the manual steps. They're kind of like workers having like employees working for you in a way. So highly recommend it. If you have any questions, all those links are in the description below, and we will see you guys in the next video.